2 series down for the Mid-Season Brawl Playoffs here for day number 1, live from Jönköping, Sweden, as I am joined to my left by Gillyweed, Tetcha, and Fan. And what we've seen so far, guys, has been good. We've seen L5 do very, very well, dominating fashion against Nomia, going 3-1. We've seen Roll20 in the Battle of North America, going 3-1 themselves. I said 3-1 in the previous series, it was 3-0. Don't mind me. So, overall, it's been good so far.
There was a game that Nomia very nearly had versus L5, so it makes sense why you would think maybe it did go 3-1. But yeah, pretty expected results so far. Depending on which side you were on for NA, I think that one could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. It was a lot closer than, about as close as people said, actually. Although the Nomia L5 one was a lot closer than a lot of people expected. It was super exciting to see.
Yeah, and that's for the NA game, Tempo versus Roll20. I actually was predicting it would go 3-2 either way, so a little bit surprised about that result, but overall, the games have been great.
But overall, now what we've got to move on to in just a few moments' time is, of course, our 2 winners bracket matches. eStar going up against Fnatic, and then Dignitas against MVP Black. This is where the tournament gets really serious. These 4 teams having taken the top 1 and 2 spots from each of the groups, and now they're going to be pitted against one another. I think overall, these are probably going to be the best series we've seen so far in the entire tournament.
I absolutely agree, and it's hard to tell which one is going to be the better one.
Yes.
eStar has been such a surprise, but then Team Dignitas coming in initially losing to eStar and then able to get 3 wins over L5 throughout the group stage.
Yeah.
Both of them are so exciting.
And eStar in general has been exciting with the way that they've been drafting, just causing chaos and mayhem with every single draft that they've actually gone into.
From HGC China to this event, eStar is a completely different team. They came out of nowhere, surprised everyone, and have been the team that everyone seems the most excited about at this tournament, just due to how well they are playing, how good they are drafting, and it's still completely different to all the other teams.
I mean, if you're the other teams, are you fearful, very fearful of eStar because they're just so unpredictable, Fan?
I think I would be at this point. The thing about eStar that's really interesting is their star player, HGC. I had a talk with him, and he says that he really gets excited when he's on stage in the live crowd environments, and he really, you know, he brings his gameplay up to another level. So the interesting thing is that a lot of teams here that have scrimmed eStar, they actually have very favorable scrim results against eStar, but I think when HGC is on that stage, he really brings it up a notch, and I'm excited to watch this game.
Well, we're about 10 minutes out before we do begin the upper bracket here for the Mid-Season Brawl Playoffs. But of course, if you did miss the group stage, it was 5 fantastic days of games. And if you did miss them, well, we can keep you up to date. And it's a truly global competition we have this time, as 12 teams are going to be coming from across the world and competing in group stages into playoffs to figure out who is going to be our world champion.
This could be the beginning of the end.
Playing the game is my passion. I love this game. Competition is my passion, I guess, but the game's a good way to do it.
Doesn't this, like, the top of this look super fragile? Like we could fall through at any moment? No. Traveling and eating are the only 2 things in life outside of video games that matter. So it's, like, cool that there's a bit of an overlap for me.
Wow, you beat it, it's beautiful.
I think this tournament, the West, is as strong as it's ever been, and Korea's having some issues right now. So if there were a tournament for Korea to not win, this is that tournament.
Ah! Get out!
Oh, L5? You're gonna get...
We put a lot of work in our practice, and I'd say that's because of Quacknix. We feel like we're always like the best team, but when we actually come to a tournament, we fail, and it always gives us more motivation to just reach that #1.
I mean, obviously the Asian teams are always the strongest teams, but this time around I think EU has really caught up with them in terms of skill level. So I think this is our best chance of actually winning the tournament. Okay, är vi redo?
Heard through the rumor mill that Fnatic is trying to beat out Dignitas's fastest time ever, so...
The core continues to drop, and that's gonna be it. New record here, 6 minutes and 1 second. Fnatic.
Why did we not pick Genji?
Certification popped out, but multiple members are low on health. Genji getting resets left and right here. Quacknick's burning through.
But like, what I'm saying is I think we can do a lot better if they just don't have like a Genji comp.
As Fnatic easily, it seems like, wipes the entire team of Nomia.
Dude, that was nuts from Quacknick's. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god, bro.
Analyst desk.
Yeah, at least some games to win some.
I care a lot about Heroes, actually. It's all I do, basically. Most days is I play Heroes, I watch Heroes, I watch more Heroes, and then I sleep. And I love it. Like, I'm really living the dream. Almost as soon as I started playing, I was like, I love this game. Like, and it felt like I was connected to the game somehow.
On to deal with the catapults. Joke hard though. But they got taken out. Resets here. The cocoon is used.
They did it.
Takes down one. Boys, let's go.
We expected 0-2, not 2-0.
That was the most unbelievable comeback in Heroes of the Storm history. My mind is blown.
Jay, how loud is your white noise?
I mean, it's okay, sorry?
Like, I literally can't hear anything, and the admin says that's how it's supposed to be.
But you can hear us?
No.
You just answered me, so you can hear us.
Oh, I can hear you fine now.
What?
Are you sure your Windows sound isn't down or something?
What up, dogs? It's good.
It's the kill. We're going to see if he's going for more as the flight over is going to take down Tychus, and down goes Bakery, and this could be the beginning of the end.
现在欧洲的队伍也特别的强。其实中国和韩国的水平还是有点差距的，就是他们比我们更冷静一点，然后我们比他们就是在某些方面会过激一点。
下面有弹。
打韩国队的时候还是尽量做好，就每一步都不能失误，然后争取打，就每一个细节都不能错。
As always, eStar takes out the core, takes the series 2-0.
In impressive fashion, eStar just dominated both games.
先把自己做好，然后再去跟对面进行博弈，打团战。
Rega is dying as well, and it's just eStar completely obliterating Temple Storm on Sky Temple.
I've been playing pretty much probably 12 to 14 hours a day. Basically just getting up, eating, playing, eating, scrimming, eating, sleeping.
You have a taxi? I think it's coming. Well, I think it's actually there. It's just the players on yet.
Fitting the bottom boss that was pushing in, so both teams have keeps exposed. Did Genji just get killed by an Uther?
Yeah.
안 따일 수 있는데 따일 수 있는데 절대 안 따이잖아 인지는. 그때 지긴 하는데 솔직히 따이는 건 좀 그렇지. 5초인데 2초만 쓰는 것 같아. 한 번 더 쓰고 3초만 쓰는데? 갔어 나 갔어. 카드가. 왜 히오스에서 그 워크 아니냐? 와우 아니냐 와우.
Vanilla focus down, and Reset finally catches up. It is a massacre.
Like the entire game snowballed? Yo, it's all good. Let's focus on the next game.
50, 40, and it's moving down. This is going to be game here. Roll 20 takes the first game against MVP Black. Multiple members are low on health. Genji getting resets left and right here. Quacknick's burning through.
They go in, they get the knockup, they did it! They
He died! My goodness!
Okay, there's 2 here. I'm still going.
When you look at Team Dignitas and trying to draft versus them it's sort of like walking through a minefield.
I mean, if we go Abathur, then we don't need the Grayman that much either. We can just go double there.
Murden's good.
We will have a tiebreaker situation between 2 teams and then a tiebreaker situation between another 2.
Tempo Storm seems to have done it.
That is going to be GG!
Oh, top damage, baby!
It all comes down to one more map here for the group stage of the mid-season brawl.
He's moving in. Got Blast still in trouble. Gets stunned once against Snitch, looking for an opportunity. He gets it. He takes Tyrell down.
Dignitas has done it.
Like for now, the mid-season brawl is everything to us, and we really want to win.
I think we can do it. We've proven we can fight with the best.
机会每一个队伍都有机会赢任何一个队伍，还是看自己怎么发、怎么表现吧。
This is our chance. This is an opportunity that we have to take.
This is everything to them. This is their chance to play this weekend. DreamHack Sweden.
The atmosphere is electric here at DreamHack Summer, as we obviously have all of these teams vying for that top spot. And you can see how much it means to them when you kind of are able to kind of delve into their mindset, get a chance to chat to them. Obviously, we've been chatting to them all the time whilst been here. There's never been more hungrier position for a lot of these teams.
You can see how hype it is. I've got nerd chills going on. I love that video. And I love the quote that any team can take this. Every team has lost maps. Several teams that we never believed would lose series have lost series. It could be anyone's tournament. And I don't know the last time that I have felt that way about a Heroes tournament, and that is what I love about this event.
I mean, there's the comment that they make of like, Korea's never looked as weak right now as they do, but the other regions have never looked as strong as they do now, Tetra.
This is the very first time that I've come into a tournament and I've had zero idea about who I think will win. Usually I have 1 or 2 teams. Now it's like 5. It is crazy trying to predict this.
Yeah, and not only, do we have the Korean teams looking weaker than they ever have and the Western teams looking stronger than they ever have, we also have eStar, who popped out of nowhere. The Chinese scene was, for a long time on the decline. Every international tournament, eStar looked slightly worse and worse. They originally started from like the MVP Black God tier status, and every tournament they disappointed a little bit. But all of a sudden, they're back, so.
Yeah, they're not a wild card. They're not even a dark horse. They're a battering ram at this point at eStar. They have come to break the gates down with their insane play. Let's check in with the bracket to see what's happened so far in the playoffs, as well as what is to come. As you can see up to the top there, our next 2 series to unfold in just a few moments' time. And of course, our next one that is coming up is eStar Gaming going up against Fnatic. Gilly, it's a dream stipulation, and we're only in the first round of the playoffs.
Fnatic has home field advantage playing here in Sweden.
Yeah.
But eStar, we can't talk about it enough, defies logic in the way they play, in the way they draft. Fnatic, the one showing of their stress tolerance was up against MVP Black, and they failed. They lost 0-2 in that series. This will be the next big hurdle for Fnatic, is beating eStar so that they can continue in the upper bracket.
Yeah, it's a funny thing because, you as Fnatic, you go into HGC, you go into the league format as a whole, and you place first and you're like, congratulations, boys, you've won an all expenses paid trip to
your own country.
But they're here and they are doing their country proud so far. They're doing Europe proud. They are looking strong, formidable, and I don't know how this series goes, Tetra.
Neither do I. But this is the situation that Fnatic seems to have at the majority of the last couple of events they've been to, where there's all the hype behind them that maybe this time, but like you said, if it was going to be the time for them to take an international tournament, where better than here in Jönköping, Sweden at DreamHack Summer?
As long as they don't meet up against Dignitas, fan.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they definitely want to avoid Dignitas. It's been their kryptonite, and they've said so. But, you know, playing against eStar, they have to be feeling confident here. And not only eStar, but further on in the tournament, we said that the Korean teams, they've looked weaker than they ever have. And that is not something you can count on to ever happen again. So they have to be thinking, this is their chance. They want this tournament win.
All right, we are almost ready to get into this series, but of course, we have to introduce our teams. The first of which is the absolute blockbuster of a team that has bust onto the scene. Not even bust onto the scene because they've been around for so long, but this tournament, they've shown some real special stuff. It is, of course, eStar.
我觉得一支队伍，能造成良好的默契是需要时间，最需要的是时间，因为5个人要一直打，一直不断的去，就是需要很久的时间让他们产生信任，然后再把这个团队每个人不同的性格都发挥出来，不同的那种东西。我觉得我们的团战为什么那么强，是因为在某些情况下是完全信任队友的。
Really engaged. The main goal is to make sure they don't use nukes here. We're going to have the Aegis pop out as Power Slide does get hit here. H able to retreat, especially with the Divine Shield coming out. And we're going to have Strafe actually get a kill on Genji.
Yeah, the Aegis still not hitting, and that was perfect by eStar.
我们的弱点，在于对面只要打乱我们的节奏，就有可能就掌握不了比赛。
There has never been a team in Heroes history that has shown this much flavor and gained this much success with it, Gilly. It's been phenomenal to watch.
Every game that eStar plays, I have to watch. My eyes are glued to the screen because they are so much fun to watch. They are willing to take fights that seem unwinnable for them. Even if they lose the first person in the fight, somehow miraculously, they continue fighting and they win the fight. And it's because they understand the trade-ups between the players and the heroes that they have in compositions.
And this is something that's super interesting about eStar from it, not only just the first week, but from HGC China. They played a little bit more standard, more like some of the Korean teams there. They seem to have adopted a lot of the styles of the other top region teams in that region, like Super Perfect Team, with their alternate draft picks, which is another thing that's made them so interesting to watch. And they have so many star players. Right. We keep going on about Xing C and X, but they're so terrifying that we have to.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on your point as well there, eStar, not only, we always talk about Xing C, but he's not the only one with this insane amount of game sense. They all have it. I have like X randomly walks up to me or SW, and they just all say these very, very smart things. They all know exactly how to team fight, and they're all just always on the same page.
And of course, they're a team that, as much as they have shown insane spice with the picks that they've gone into, they've molded normal compositions around Xing C. They allow him to go onto that hyper carry, be it a Valor, be it a Grey main, and just build it around them overall. But of course, here is Tiger. What can you tell me about Tiger, Gilly? Does he stand out for you?
Tiger does sometimes play the supporting role if they've got a Zarya, a Tassadar, that's generally Tiger's hero. But we have seen him be able to shine as the Genji primarily for the team. When Xing C is not playing it all depends on how the draft goes. But this just, again, goes back into, it is so hard to pick the #1 player for the team. Yes, we see Xing C making stellar plays. We see Savage making impossible plays. But every single member, Lucian, the SW, they all can make them.
Coming into this event, everyone was sort of looking at Xing C and thinking, maybe it's a bit of a smaller hero pool, maybe he is the key. And they have repeatedly proved that this is not the case, because if you focus Xing C, you leave it open for Tiger, you leave it open for X to come in and fill in that aggressive role.
Well, of course, we do have one team on that side, but there is a second team here ready to play. They are the home country advantage here, and a lot of the Western world's hopes rest on their shoulders. It is, of course, Fnatic.
We don't just have one key player, we have 5 key players. And it comes down to me and Wooby with drafting and game sense, I would say. Shrimpy with his wide variety of hero pool. Breeze just being the best tank in Europe, in my opinion. And same goes for Smexy, just being the best support in the Western scene. I think the biggest difference between a really strong team and a team with 5 strong individuals is about micro and micro. I think a strong team, no matter if they don't have very talented players, can like play a really good macro because they understand the game and they play the game together with good synergy. Team with just talented players rely more on playmaking and always have these playmakers in their team to carry. We are gonna win this tournament by playing our game and making sure we stay on top of our game, which comes down to having good communication, great energy, and making sure our drafts are on point, because I feel that our meta is the strongest.
There's an air of destiny about it, but can they deliver as we stare into the eyes of death?
Or life, he's the healer.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. Keep us healed, Mexi, and this will continue for a long time, so we'll move on. Of course, as Fnatic, they do stand out as one of the big favorites for this tournament if they're able to deliver, especially here in the upper bracket.
Yeah, when we talked about eStar, we talked about a team of 5 playmakers, but Fnatic has been talked about in the same way for a long time. Anybody can be the player who carries the team in a particular game. It just depends on what they draft and who's showing up, who's feeling it that day. So that is something to keep in mind, and I think that is what will make this match so incredible between the two.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one for sure. It's not often, actually, that you get teams where just 5 players, every single one of them look like they can be the carry. It's going to be great because there's just 10 extraordinarily good players in this next match.
Like you said, you watch from game to game, and a different player from Fnatic will be the one who carries in each one, and they work together so well. You will see a game and you'll be like, Smexy is one of the most godlike supports we have ever seen. Yeah. And then you'll watch another one and it's just like, well, Quacknix just killed 8 people in a row without even bothering to break a sweat.
Well, if you can hear all that, welcome to DreamHack as we continue down the line. So Fnatic, overall, the way that these two teams match up is very interesting to me because we've seen Fnatic, they will go for stable comps, they have their own cheeses, etc. and stuff like that, but it's kind of in moments where they don't need to be able to pull out a true top tier comp. And then, of course, we have someone like Shrimpy, who can be very, very flexible on a lot of roles.
Oh, Shrimpy's Li Ming is my favorite. Has the highest Li Ming KDA of all of the mid-season brawl at 11, averaging 3.5 kills per game and only 1 death. So look out for Shrimpy to play Li Ming, especially.
I'm also a fan of Shrimpy's Abathur as well. It's definitely one of the more flexible and aggressive Abathurs. Getting a solo kill onto a Genji as he was attempting to escape during the group stages was one of my favorite highlights.
Yeah, I mean, I actually believe that was Snitch on L5.
Oh, that was Snitch. Sorry, yes.
That actually goes into my next point. I was actually just going to say, you know, it's the European flexes, Shrimpy and Snitch, they're both actually so flexible. They can play pretty much anything you need them to, and they can perform very well on it.
Yeah, they're both yoga masters. But anyway, aside from that, of course, you've got eStar on the other side, who bring insane games to the table. We're going to start things on Cursed Hollow, and then banned out was Warhead Junction and Dragonshire. So Cursed Hollow, you can only imagine that the Abathur is going to be controlled in the draft as quickly as possible.
How interesting that eStar has chosen Cursed Hollow here, because they have banned it a fair amount so far in this event.
They have, but it does fit into some of the drafts they're going. We've seen Savage going with a very Illidan style comp with an Abathur where he split pushes aggressively. This works exceptionally well on this map as it is one of the larger ones. And Abathur is one of the stronger heroes here. Either a ban or a pick could be coming from either team.
Yeah, and we have to remember that the format here is different from the format before, where it was the best of 2. You only play 2 maps no matter what. Here you can play up to 5.
All right, into game number 1. The draft begins as we have eStar going up against Fnatic in the upper bracket for the mid-season brawl.
I talked to Quacknix, and he acknowledges that eStar looks so strong this event, but wanted to see how the map bans was going to go. So I'm wondering if they're thrown off at all at seeing that Cursed Hollow pick, not banning it out here. Maybe even thinking that eStar would want to ban Tomb because that's been their other primary ban, and we know that Fnatic is very strong on it. But here, eStar showing that they want to play on Curse. First ban is Illidan.
Yep, no Savage Illidan plays today. Fnatic have seen how absolutely terrifying it can be. Don't want to deal with it, even though they could play it themselves. It is just a safer ban because they can still get the Abathur for themselves if they want to. eStar might not be as willing to ban it away if they have already lost their Illidan.
I'm wondering if we see a different Fnatic, more like the Fnatic of old with a lot of focus on globals. We've seen Tempo Storm be able to get ahead in the macro game versus eStar, although eventually you gotta win a fight, and that's the hard part versus eStar.
Yeah, and eStar are thinking long and hard about this Abathur ban. If you ban Abathur, you can potentially give over the Haka to Fnatic, giving a global advantage to Fnatic on that side. I wonder if Fnatic is even going to take it, though. I don't actually think the Haka is that much of an eStar hero. He's very much more of a play the map macro, soak, and then slowly come in and try and fight kind of hero. It really doesn't fit eStar's style in my opinion, but it is very strong when Abathur's banned, so have to see if they pick it up here.
They may be hoping that Fnatic gets Dahaka here, because then eStar can get Uther.
Yeah.
And a noob.
I would almost rather Fnatic pick Uther here. I think against eStar specifically, that is most likely the better first pick, and they're thinking hard about this.
Yeah, running down the clock all the way here, trying to work out what they want to do. There's so many high priority picks and so many that eStar could in theory just build a draft around if you leave anything in particular open.
I'm surprised they are taking this long about it because
Genji
comes in first. Well, the thing is that they had to have anticipated Abathur or Dahaka being that first ban, right? So for them to run down the pool that long, it's very interesting.
See, so this is where I'm curious, because if what I'm reading about eStar is right, just the way they play, they might not even take the Dahaka. They'll take Uther plus something else that's not Dahaka. And in that case, that's what I was thinking about. If Fnatic gets the Uther, they also... Oh,
they still go for it.
Yeah, looks like eStar might be kind of adapting to the meta. The first pick Dahaka. I want to see if they can...
we did the adapting Dahaka. I like it.
Glad you caught that.
Is upon us.
So the Uther is what we expect coming up next?
Most likely pick, I'd have to say, but eStar already opened up with the Dahaka, which I did not expect, so kind of interested in seeing how they go about this. eStar always goes a different direction with their drafts. It's quite unusual.
Yeah, it's very hard to predict where they're going to go. But with that Illidan ban, at least Fnatic have sort of denied a potential maybe global, depending on how Savage wanted to play that hero. So maybe they felt a little bit threatened, and that's why we saw the Dahaka. But there we go. Falstad, a new Barak for Fnatic.
And that's one of the first false stats that we've seen in the tournament so far. Most people have shied away from picking it just because it is very vulnerable, even though it is the global. Looks like Fnatic has a plan in mind.
You say vulnerable though, but one of the big vulnerabilities to it is potentially Illidan, and then the other one is Genji, which they've already controlled, right?
Yeah, I love how they played that out.
Yeah.
Still a few more options here. A Greymane or a Zeratul could pose the threat to the Falstad, but yeah, half of the threats are banned out at this point.
Li Ming banned away. eStar not wanting to deal with the triple engage burst comp that could come from a noob followed up by Genji and Li Ming. And of course, a noob, one of the biggest counters to Li Ming, so there's no way they want it either.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of people ban Zeratul in this position, and I know Fnatic are maybe considering because he is a counter to Falstad, but eStar just has not been showing a lot of Zeratul play so far in this tournament. So I wonder if Fnatic are now considering the risk of letting it through. Does eStar play it? I don't think they've played it at all in the Mid-Season Brawl, and only played it once in all of HGC China.
Yeah, the Greymane is up as well as the Tyrael, two very heavy power picks for eStar, so I think any of those would be pretty good for the ban. And the Medivh ban.
There is another hero we're looking over for eStar here. Valor just has been completely neglected so far this entire thing. One of Zingzi's favorites. They already have Uther. The Uther Valor Ariel has come up several times throughout this tournament and beforehand. So they've left themselves open to a bit more of their standard style comp if they want.
Yeah, and the Medivh ban tells me a lot here. Either they know something that we do not, where eStar has a cheese comp with Medivh, or more likely they're planning on full bursting someone, which doesn't actually make that much sense when they're leaving all these invulnerabilities up. So kind of interesting, really.
Although, yes, definitely Zingzi's Vala is something to keep in mind. So, too, is his Greymane, and it has been that way for an entire year. And with having both Uther and Tyrael, that's the way I'm leaning.
So would they want to pick up Ariel now if they wanted to go for that style of combo? They could in theory go for Tass too, for Uther Tass. Greymane to go for one of their damage dealers. They've made the commitment for Zingzi.
Yeah, the Tyrael Gaming coming out there. They could have also potentially gone the Oreo Vala in that rotation if they wanted to.
Oh, this is very old school Fnatic.
Yeah.
I like it.
And that's why the Medivh was banned out. Portal, very good against Stitches here. So we finally see why. Pretty cool. Double global.
The thing is that was a snap lock.
Yeah.
The plan here for Fnatic is very set in their minds, which gives me a little bit of confidence behind Fnatic there. But of course, we don't know what eStar's going to round this out with.
No, absolutely. When you see a snap lock-in like that, and that is the second time that we've seen that from Fnatic, 2 rotations in a row, they have thought through this first draft. They want to try to get ahead. As Zinxie said, when we're disrupted in our tempo, our momentum, that's when we have a possibility of losing the game. That is what Fnatic are trying to do with this global composition.
Back when Dignitas actually had Wubby on it, before JPL was the hook master for Dignitas, it was actually Wubby that was playing it a lot for them.
Ooh,
Varian rounds it out.
Varian pickup here. I like that pickup. You just want heroes that are not going to die easily. Fnatic's game plan is revealed. It's a pick composition with isolation. You can cocoon someone, gust the rest of the team away, hook, potentially even gorge, and just try and kill that one target. So maybe even Emerald Wind if they really wanted, you know? So eStar, it's just all going to depend on whether or not they fall for that isolation strategy.
Very varied drafts there, very different on each side here, Tetra. So what do you think about them overall?
I really like how I think Fnatic left up a lot of invulnerabilities, and if they're not able to execute the hook comp, that's going to be a huge problem. Team fights are going to be rough just due to the amount of turnaround potential and, of course, saving potential that eStar has. And, of course, Greymaine's no pushover. Varian is open now to basically go whatever build he pleases because he already has a double tank behind him as well.
That's a really good point, actually. Now that I think about it, he might not actually go taunt. But we're going to go with predictions. Gilly, let's start with you.
I want to see eStar be patient with their global, make sure that they're not bringing him down for nothing, not getting baited down, but I'm still giving eStar the edge with this draft.
All right.
I really think that the invulnerabilities are too much of an issue. I think that's a big oversight by Fnatic, so I'm going with eStar.
I think Fnatic drafted a very execution-heavy composition here with the Gust, potentially even the Emerald Wind. I do believe in their execution, but that's a little too much execution, and eStar has their cookie-cutter comfort picks, so gotta go with eStar here.
All right, everyone's on the eStar train for game number 1. Let's see what the chat thinks at home as well, as we love to hear all of your opinions, and it's 65% in favor of Fnatic right now, going up against eStar. I cannot call myself either way how this entire series is going to unfold. Absolutely not, because it is very, very difficult, very close between these two, as we do have. Now, ready for game number 1 here in the upper bracket for the mid-season brawl. Let's go.
We have the winner bracket, and we have Fnatic going up against eStar. China versus Sweden. And this is going to be a good one.
It is going to be amazing, and the drafts, I think, were a beautiful kickoff to this series. Both teams getting what they wanted, but as we see representing China here in the blue is eStar Gaming. Savage is on Dahaka, SW on Uther, Tiger on his Tyrael, Jing Chen playing Greymane, and H on Varian. Sweden, give it up for eStar!
And all the way to the right side, the home team with Dwimpy on Genji, Quacknix on Falstead, Breeze on Anubarak, Smexy on Brightwing, Wubby on Stitches. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Fnatic!
And as we can see, a bit of a, home comfort here. The fact that we are playing at DreamHack Sweden, Fnatic is the home favorite, but I mean, I love what the analysis said. Talking specifically about eStar has this so comfort, so aggressive, like they like in what they've displayed throughout this entire tournament, and then Fnatic here with this execution-heavy composition.
You know, I'm absolutely loving what Fnatic is trying to do. They have the potential for a Gust after Gorge, the isolation comp that we've seen in the past. But Fan was absolutely right on the money. It's going to be very difficult to execute that against eStar Gaming, so they have to play absolutely perfect here.
Yeah, eStar has been one of the most technically demanding teams in this entire tournament. So right now, it's just who has the outplay mechanic. Is it Fnatic, a team that is just dominated throughout the European region, or is it, in fact, the pleasant surprise that is eStar Gaming at the mid-season brawl?
I mean, at this point, we already have a bit of a shakeup when it comes to the normal laning. We have 2 heroes down to the bottom, 2 up at the top, with Falstad and Brightwing in the equation. There's, of course, a lot of mobility on the side of Fnatic. Here comes the hook against Jingzi once again on his Grey main, but Wooby will have to at least tap the well since he's already extremely low after that early brawling on lane.
And I mean, you know, Xingchen has been a standout performance this entire tournament. The player to really seem to be looking out for every time eStar Gaming is playing, no matter what hero. The Valo we've known through it in the past, but the coolest thing, but the gank coming out here?
Yeah, trying to go for the Varian. Polymorph, but the Varian is still able to move away here. And Quatnix immediately starting the rotation towards the bot lane. They're not losing out on any lane experience, but you can tell that with that mobile setup, they are looking to gank on lanes and then use the global mobility to move back to soak experience.
I think the High King's quest for Lucian there at level 1 is going to be interesting. We already know it's the double warrior, and we've seen China be comfortable. So far, we've seen all 3 Varian heroics chosen by this region. Yeah. So that does indicate that it could be something different, but it is not 100%. High King's quest could just be like, we're low on damage, I needed it at level 1.
Yeah, I'm still definitely excited to see what exactly eStar Gaming is going to pull off here. And you've been talking about Xingzi already a bit. He is such a fantastic player. It is insane to watch him, what he can do when he has the double support. And Fnatic, of course, they know that. They're going up against one of the strongest teams in this tournament. And so far, both of the teams showing a lot of respect.
Yeah, the Globals all residing onto bottom where Fnatic has their Giants as a tribute up on top. So not really a major advantage going in either direction, and these teams realize that. So they're playing a bit more patient, not as hasteful to try and get on top of this tribute.
At this point, Fnatic has a bit of an upper hand thanks to the tribute at the top because of the Siege Giant camp, but with Dehaka and Falstad in the mix, there's always, of course, the use of the Globals to join the fight over the tribute up at the top. But the first goal for Fnatic is to take down the Siege Giants of eStar Gaming.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see this rotation coming up from Fnatic because, again, they have a less traditional composition, basing it around the hook and then isolation, but they don't have Gus until pre-10. So what is the intent here, levels 1 through 9 for Fnatic? First is going to be starting on the Tribute, but Genji has the disengaged. Wimpy is fine.
Wooby still looking for the potential interrupt, maybe with a hook here. We saw Breeze moving back. Here comes though, great interrupt, but SW immediately with the stun, and Wooby's all of a sudden in trouble as he trying to go behind the gate, barely getting out of there as Breeze moves in and helps out his teammate.
The 4-man of eStar Gaming not looking nearly as crisp as we have seen into the group stage. There goes Smexy with the teleport. He's going to be able to join here, revealing everyone with Peekaboo. Falstad is still winning the 1v1 down on bottom with those Giants, and now the channel started by Wubby, the poly interrupt, and that is now a tribute over to Fnatic.
Fnatic winning everything here. They get the tribute, and they still have Falstad pushing the bot lane, protecting the Giants, went through the wall, and finally, we're seeing down here, the Giants push in and take him down. It took Dehaka a long time to negate that threat. And at this point, eStar Gaming finds themselves behind nearly a level in experience.
Yeah, finding a way to gain a small advantage through macro is huge here. The drag misses, forcing a burrow now out of Lucian.
Jingzi on 7, going into the stacks here. The Wizened Duel is taken. This guy has so much confidence.
And also, Varian is not going triple W, which is what we thought, the unkillable into the Stitches hook.
Yeah.
Is this Twin Blades? With High Kings in second win at 7? I think it is.
It should be. I mean, if you go on 7 straight into the second win tier, there's a huge chance that we're going to see that.
A Judgment C-Smash is an opportunity to get onto the Brightwing or the Falstad. There's a lot of opportunities here for eStar.
With everything that we know from China, there's definitely some shenanigans afoot, and they will use something here to surprise Fnatic. But already, having just that confidence on Greymane to go into the Wizened Duelist, this is insane. Can he stack the damage? That's the question here. So far, we have a bit of a gang in mid lane, but Breeze is moving in right now. They want Dehaka. Genji zipping in. Here comes Quatnix at the kill.
He gets the pick here, and that is now one member down. Tribute's going to be spawning. Perfect timing for Fnatic. 13 seconds having a man advantage. They have been winning into the macro game, but eStar realized this. They want to fight back, not over the Tribute, but with this man up on mid.
It's an absolute game on the edge here as we see Fnatic once again channel the Tribute. They have a lead in experience. They're trying to carry this even further, but once again, we have Varian moving in. Breeze is trying to get out. Stuns is all of a sudden, they're attacked by the Haka. The cleanse comes in, but Breeze in trouble. Gets the shield, still trying to move out. It looks like he might even be able to escape, but no! The Buck is dead. The counter kill against Greymane though.
Jing Shen ends up getting the pick now. Lucian ends up with a hook. Smex is coming back to life. The poly will be there. The peel is attempted by Lucian, but it looks like eStar, in fact, will be able to retreat 1-1 here when it comes to tributes. 1-1 on those kills as well. This is very close, but Fnatic has secured the heroics.
Yes, Fnatic, they have the heroics now, and we already see immediately Gorge being used here. We already have the Gust, and the kill against Varian will be surprising. Varian on the other side, and they're going in once again with an attempted stun, but SW on the Uther moves back through the gate.
If Wubby had just been a fraction of an inch forward, that could have been a body block dream. Tiger, you see the pressure he's receiving here up through mid, but it was X-Strike and Emerald Wind coming out for Fnatic with their heroic choices. We're yet to figure out, though, what is Lucian's choice.
Yeah, he's still waiting here, and so is Jing Z at this point, but we have the taunt. They're using it against Genji. They can also use it, of course, after a hook if they're fast enough. Another kill for Fnatic, though, as Greymane dies. 4 kills against 1 in favor of Fnatic.
eStar is just falling apart here. Fnatic is not even necessarily getting the biggest of ganks. It's just flat out rotating them once again here through bottom, prepping with a Cocoon, and I don't think they're making it out.
They're trying to go for it. Here comes the stun. Schwimpy moves in. They don't get the kill, but they have to be careful of the drag, as we see once again Varian moving in to assist his ally. Here's the drag. Breeze should be able to move out.
Love the teamwork there. Lucian getting the drag to avoid the body blocks, but now the Gust, the isolation, the Emerald Wind, but a D-Shield is there. SW, he is just getting body blocked out of here, and now Fnatic gets another kill.
Fnatic stacking up the kills one after another. It's level 11 versus 11. The Chinese team is still trying to stay in reach of Fnatic, and of course we have by now 2 tributes against 1 in favor of the Swedish team.
I just love the fact that we got that Gorge in the isolation. Emerald Wind was used in Esther. Look at that. I mean, that is, it could not get better than that. We've seen eStar with amazing body blocks throughout this tournament, but it is so nice, you know, to see a team give them a taste of their own medicine.
And eStar has been talking about it. They said if a team throws us off our rhythm, we are struggling, and that's exactly what Fnatic is currently trying to do here.
But Fnatic is able to do that so far, but let's look at the circumstances of 5 kills Fnatic has been able to pick up so far in this game, and only 1 tribute advantage. But the experience does not show that. It's much closer. So eStar is done a good job with damage control, but that Gorge.
Gorge once again, they want to go for it. Emerald Wind is already being used, and they're going immediately for Varian, who's already in tower range, getting a lot of shots in here. Cocoon is being used on the tribute. Varian moves away. Another hook of Wubby misses. Fnatic is down several cooldowns already.
Imperial's not even there. He's looking to get the flank now. Falstad actually getting the rotation as well. He is cut out. Now all the members of Fnatic are in a terrible spot. There goes the polymorph. Drag comes out, it completely whiffs.
Drag misses. The Haka still zoning here. Quacknix has to use the Gust as he disengages completely alone to the right side. Fnatic aiming for the 13, but they don't have it yet. And eStar is aiming for the channel.
And the Giants up on top. The time is on the side of eStar Gaming. Tiger finds himself at a bad spot. The hook is there. Schwimpy gets stunned out. The drag, the X-Strike. He stays alive, but for how long?
He uses it. Flank gets out, or does he? Yes, he does. The stunning against Tiger. Sanctification. And there's the kill against Stitches as eStar turns around and finds a new target.
Abusing the taunt and the lack of mobility onto Stitches, but look at SW. He's low. Smexy comes back. The peekaboo reveal is there. Genji now looking to get damage. Lucian's in a bad spot.
This isn't over yet. They go for Varian once again. They want the stun. They're about to get it as we have Genji with their kill. Down goes Varian. It's a 4 versus 4.
SW over there, wishing Chen, though, tried to get onto Quackness. So now Fnatic ends up getting a man advantage here, killing Tyrael on top of it. Things are looking out phenomenal for Fnatic.
Tyrael is down. They have the 13. They need to get this curse right now. The top is still pushing against them. The Siege Giants doing work here. Fnatic is still on a clock. They need to hurry up and make sure that they get this tribute, that they get the momentum in this game. But the Haka is moving in, looking for the zone.
Exactly what we expect out of eStar. Willing to take the 3 versus 5, but does it pay off? There's the Cursed Bullet getting a bit of poke. Genji going in. The Gorge is now dropped. The Gust is there, Kaldor.
Quacknix securing it right now. He gusts them out, and this is the curse. They're trying to get another kill as we are going in with the polymorph on the side of SW. Uther trying to move out, but once again the kill as Schwimpy on Genji ninjas him into the ground.
The Cocoon reveal comes out, and Jing Shen is going to fall. No, he gets the disengage. He max ranges it. Now Schwimpy in hot pursuit. The fly! And he gets him. Jing Shen falls.
Jin Shen is down and Fnatic is on the warpath. They want Varian and they're moving in. Breeze and Smexy are trying to get kill number 11 as we see Fnatic take a massive lead against the Chinese team.
Staggering this death only helps Fnatic here. Lucian just needs to die as fast as possible. So now with him falling, the curse here, still 22 seconds online. But more importantly than anything, Fnatic is closing in on 16 Talontiers.
Fnatic is playing a fantastic game right now. We currently see them once again with an attempt to jump into the middle here. At least Wooby is taking position, but the team decides against making a move. They're close to 16. They can be patient now. They don't have to force anything. Wait for the 16 talent and then play to your strength.
And one thing I haven't even taken a minute to appreciate, Fnatic has boss control like no other. Between Emerald Wind, Cocoon, Gorge, and Gus, not a single person has an opportunity to stand on that point.
We saw how strong that Cocoon can be in a boss fight in the last series that we watched between the two North American teams, Tempo Storm and Roll20.
Yeah, it can be very impactful. Wubby not connecting there with the hook. Quacknick, so much faith in the team, even getting the fight down. But now the 16 is online. This is going to be a very easy boss going over to Fnatic. Lucian scouts.
They say they have the boss safe, and Lucian scouts it, but Fnatic does not get. They're hogging.
He's body blocked.
He's body blocked, and he's Gorged as well. They go for the boss. They're gonna get a kill. Do they get the kill as well? It looks like it. He's completely isolated in the back.
And now that is Lucian. Another staggered death here for the representatives of China. They do have Tyrael through mid that will lead to the 16 Talontier along with the pressure of Dahaka. But 30 seconds with no Varian to deal with this Genji.
eStar has dominated this tournament so far. And look at this, Fnatic completely turning it around. They're going through the bot lane right now. eStar just doesn't know how to handle this. The Cocoon is in, they're going for the stun. Tyrael barely with a Sanct saving his teammates, but Fnatic goes to the keep and they're still looking for the kill.
They Divine Shield and disengage at the same time. That is worst case scenario if you are an Uther player. So now Fnatic, they're moving up to the core, but they do want a pick. Can they get it? They're searching, sharking, waiting for a moment, and here it is with Lucian.
It's a risk. Can they get the kill? That's what they're looking for. The drag against Breeze. He needs to move out of there. He's low, but he's able to get away in the last second. The Gorge is being used by Gus. They go for the Gus, but Breeze is in trouble. Breeze is down. Everyone comes through. Can they get the kill against Tiger?
Tiger stays alive. 75% onto the core of the eStar though. And now Wubby is going to die. So now we find ourselves with eStar keeping alive the Cursed Hollow dream.
They have at this point 62% on the core. So Fnatic sacrifices two of their heroes, but they are in a bit of an odd situation right now. But at least they put in a lot of pressure against the core and have a potential backdoor later on, especially if they can control the bottom boss.
And this is exactly what eStar needs to do if they are going to stand a chance in this game. They're going to take the map, the boss, while they have an advantage over Fnatic. Now with the next 45-second window, looks like for them is staggering death on death. It's not going to be easy. The fact that Fnatic is not risking anything at this point in time, they aren't willing to venture outward, but they want to get a taunt play.
They want to go for the Haka. Quacknick's even flying in. They're trying to isolate him here, but it doesn't look like it's going to be possible. They have so much mobility, but here's the slow. The Tong doesn't hit. Their Haka is down. This is perfect for Fnatic. It's a nightmare for eStar, though.
And what that does is now it removes the opportunity to look for those staggered deaths and possibly open up the map. eStar now, they do have 2 tribute advantage over Fnatic, but a curse isn't a win condition. Fnatic can wait that out. As long as they play patient, play their own game, it is still a very comfortable moment if you're a Fnatic fan.
Fnatic is 5-mining the boss and they're going to burst it down before it does serious damage to the keep. The keep has taken some damage earlier on already though, so this is definitely something that eStar can later on look to take down and abuse. But at this point, Fnatic still dominating in the game. But if you look at the experience, they're extremely close. So even though Fnatic opened up the bot lane, they need to pay attention in these team fights since eStar is still very much in this.
Yeah, again, I said it before and it's only gotten more drastic now. The fact that Fnatic has 13 kills but the experience is even is so... I think that only gives that much more credit to eStar as a team, they play like no other squad at the mid-season brawl, and it's been dominant up till this point. It just seems like Fnatic so far has found out the solution.
Yeah, Fnatic has to make sure at this point, though, that they keep them on their toes. They need to break the rhythm of eStar. And sacrificing the two heroes earlier on when they were trying to save Breeze and then also hooking a target with Stitches, maybe a bit too much. Move back later, secure the retreat with a Gust, and you find yourself still in a decent spot here. But Fnatic has still a very nice upper hand when it comes to the core damage. 62%, you can make a play there, especially if you're the team that hits 21st. But now we're talking again about a tribute.
And they get the catch. They just expect the rotation of eStar. They catch them out, just completely abusing the map. X-Strike drops, but Fnatic right now with a man up. The Sancta's right, but do they have a hook?
Shrimpy dodging the Tanga even with the X-Strike. Once again, the Polymorph. That's the second kill. The hook is there as Uther gets dragged back into the 5-man. And Fnatic looks for kill number 3. Divine Shield being used, burning the cooldown even. But Uther falls regardless, and Fnatic can move to the bot lane and finish game number 1.
Fnatic here, it is on no chance that they cannot end this game. Taunt pick is the only opportunity. Jing Shen trying to get the damage out, but the CC is going to be too real. He ends up falling. The core is quickly after.
Fnatic with a kill, wind tunnel being used. Fnatic goes for the core, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is game number 1. Fnatic takes the lead against eStar.
Absolutely brilliant play coming out from Fnatic. They had a very hard to execute composition, but at all points of that game, it felt like they predicted where eStar was going to be. They waited for the worst case rotation, and every time it led to one kill into the next, into the next. eStar has to feel a little bit jittered after that game.
And that's the question, how shaken is eStar after this loss? They didn't expect what Fnatic was pulling off here, but the big question is now, can the Chinese team recover and simply focus on the second map, or are they all of a sudden worried and have that thought in the back of their head, guys, we could lose this now?
Exactly, because not only are you going over what is one of the tournament favorite teams, again, it's in their home country. The fans are cheering so loudly for them. The pressure is here, and they've almost never been tested like Fnatic pushed them in game number 1.
Fnatic has the lead, but eStar is still a formidable opponent. And before we're heading into map number 2, we're of course going to hear more for the first map from our panel.
That's right, the atmosphere in here is electric as we can hear the Swedish crowd going crazy for Fnatic. And rightly so, because as much as we've given props to eStar for their creative drafts, etc., Fnatic there showed us some brilliant control with their picks.
Shows us why Fnatic for so long were able to execute those global compositions when no other team really was running Brightwing. Smexy was still running Brightwing. The Falstad of Quacknix hasn't really been too much of a pick so far for him in this tournament, but we can see exactly why they executed that to perfection. eStar almost never got a full 5v5 fight.
Yep, and the isolation was so good from Fnatic. They just played around the invulnerabilities that we thought would be so scary. Emerald Wind and Gust to just control where people were at all times. It was so well played.
Yeah, I mean, eStar just had so much disengage that, or sorry, not eStar, Fnatic had so much disengage that eStar could never really get on top of them with the melee composition. They had the Gust, the Emerald Wind, the Impale that was often hitting 3 or 4 people at the same time. And after 16, you have Slam Build Stitches. It just slows everyone in front of you. And we actually have a replay here. This kind of just shows how they played the entire fight. If we could pause this right here. So basically what happened right here is the story of the entire game. Fnatic, they never let eStar get that 5 versus 5 fight. In this particular instance, they were bush camping, but you see the Cocoon got used there. The Emerald Wind got used, separated someone, instantly killed the Varian. Nothing they could do about it, even though he has the Protect. The Emerald Wind disables him, they have Polymorph disables him, and he's isolated. So if we play on here, you know, this is not exactly the most exciting team fight, but that's because Fnatic out-macroed eStar. They just never let them get that fight. eStar, they always start these fights 3 versus 5, 4 versus 5, and Fnatic punished them for that. The Tyrael wasn't there for that engage, and by the time he got there, the isolation comp already killed someone. You see eStar trying to go back in there with the Tyrael, back in for the patented 4 versus 5 engage. They dropped the Sank, they tried to kill someone, but it wasn't enough. Just all the health bars on Fnatic were full, and they could not turn that fight around. Just really well done by Fnatic.
There's so much to talk about from this game. We could be here for like half an hour. The interesting build on Varian, the fact that X-Strike was used to be able to just follow up and blow up. But one thing I want to look at is the fact that when we see Stitches in the European scene, it's kind of a different mentality to how the Asian team's using it, right?
I think you would know best.
The Asian teams do use it in terms of isolations quite a bit.
But it's mostly for the damage, right?
It is. It's usually for on Infernal Shrines and Wave Clear, for example, stuff like that a lot of the time. Where, like you said, the European teams are mostly relying on it as their main engage form, whereas China, they will use it for that, and it will be effective for that. But it's not always purely for that reason, whereas we just saw Fnatic, it was their tank in the composition. It was absorbing a lot of the damage, but using it with Gorge and with other things built around the mechanics of Stitches, as opposed to just saying, here's an engage,